This is crazy. I came across a critical update. The banks are falling apart as we are watching. In fact, there's only one solution, and it's through the XRP ledger. And this is not through me, but through the Central Bank of Europe and through administration from both the United States side and even Iran side and Russia. We got to talk about this today in today's video. It's extremely critical as we're seeing increasing infrastructural changes. First of all, yesterday or over the last couple of days, we've seen bombing of banks, specifically with money flying all over the place in Iran. Now, Iran has also threatened to bomb parts of either the Middle East or any financial institutions. And this is not what I'm saying, but this is what the news is saying. In fact, it was just published on the Times of Israel. Iran will target U.S.-Israeli economic and banking interests in the region. Now, what is happening is even further than that, because we saw Europe come out and start talking about this exact issue, with the president of the European Central Bank, actually announcing institutional adoption of an updated financial system. And she's talking almost exactly about XRP. Listen in.
You have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think...
And this is crazy again, because Brad Garlinghouse was talking about this only a short while ago in an interview that he had released, and he's talking specifically about central bank digital currencies. Listen in.
Really trying to solve that cross-border payments problem. Central bank digital currencies are domestic by nature. They're issued by a central bank or potentially issued by a central bank. So they're not really solving cross-border problems. They're solving domestic solutions more often than not. So look, I think that what we're seeing happen with stablecoins, we're seeing happening with central bank issued digital assets, I think is exciting. I'm not exactly clear how it's all going to play out. You're seeing countries experiment and test. Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced, that they're issuing and testing using the XRP ledger to issue their digital assets on the XRP ledger as a...
And again, the concept is the physical banks can be targets of either war or can be targets of a lot of different things, scams, it can be targets of hacks, and they're falling apart. The only way that you can have a decentralized system that survives all of this, the wars and the sanctions and even the blockades that we're seeing on oil and so forth, is through a decentralized payment system. Now, who's the only tested decentralized payment provider currently? Well, it is Ripple and the XRP ledger. And you got to think about it from a different lens. One of the most impacted countries right now, obviously the Gulf is the most, among the most impacted places, including Dubai. But Dubai has already set up the infrastructure for a crypto Ripple central bank. In fact, Ripple has actually already been approved by the central bank of Dubai and the UAE. So they have the infrastructure ready, which means the impact could be reduced significantly. To top that off, on April 1st, we're expected to see one of the largest ever, listen to that very carefully, burns on the XRP ledger. Now, burns on the XRP ledger result in actual transactions on the XRP ledger result in XRP being burned. This was announced by the largest decentralized media platform right on the XRP ledger. And just for context, guys, decentralized media and mainstream media is a $5 trillion industry. And now we're going to have the largest single token transaction burn on the XRP ledger of 5 million BXE token burns. Now, you might think to yourself, 5 million, that's not a lot of tokens. It is a lot for a token that has a total supply of only 470 million. That equates to about 2 to 3% of the existing entire supply. And this is no small project on the XRP Ledger. They already have 414 journalists publishing right on the XRP Ledger. This is critical for me because it opens the door or talks about the concept of not needing the banks anymore. In fact, Ban Exchange actually has a partnership through Bitmart through powered by Visa for a credit card that uses BXE token right on the XRP Ledger. You can see right there, right on the powered by the XRP Ledger. So no longer are journalists only getting paid just on the XRP Ledger, but journalists are actually right now not needing the banks anymore because it runs through directly to their Visa card and then they get essentially paid. And this is being supported by the leading infrastructure providers on the XRP Ledger, which one of is GitBlocks. Now, GitBlocks is a node provider for the XRP Ledger. And if you know anything about the XRP Ledger, if you have any technical knowledge, you know that the XRP Ledger runs on the validator nodes, basically different points, that connect to each other. This is how the Ripple system runs. GitBlocks provides these nodes, so this is a very big deal. And look what they just wrote. BXC goes live on the XRP Ledger. Journalists get paid instantly in crypto for live event coverage, text, audio, photo, fast, secure, and fully on-chain. GitBlocks is powering the infrastructure behind this next-generation media finance move. This is a big deal, and people, to me, I'm just kind of mind blown away that people are not noticing. This is coming April 1st. That burn is happening, and we're sitting at a token that is at 2 cents. For context, guys, if it hits the same market cap as Solana hit during the peak, we're not talking some imaginary numbers here. We're talking the numbers that have happened at their peak. We would be talking about $300 to $400 per individual BXE token. April 1st. $300 to $400. It's mind blowing to imagine that people are not even paying attention to this. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not even saying invest. You don't have to really do anything, really. But all I'm trying to say is we should look into it because what is about to happen on the XRP Ledger, and again, Brad Garlinghouse talks about the XRP Ledger specifically, and I put a video on my X account, Finance Bro YT, of Putin talking about the collapse of the US dollar and that no country will be using the US dollar. But I think the United States already knows this because President Donald Trump, on his first couple of days in the office, came out with the XRP Crypto Strategic Reserve. Now, what is a strategic reserve meant for? And a lot of people are starting to understand that now that, countries are talking about using their oil strategic reserve. But the strategic reserve is supposed to back your money. So why is the United States adding XRP to their strategic reserve? Well, that means they're trying to back their money by XRP. I mean, that's the common sense answer. And this is why I'm super bullish on BXE. Now, XRP is a long-term game. We got to remember we have 100 billion XRP tokens. 50 billion are locked up in escrow. So we have a lot of supply, but every single transaction that happens on the XRP ledger results in XRP being burnt. That includes BXE on the XRP ledger. Now, in the short term, I personally believe that the smaller market cap tokens that have significant high proven utility, they are the tokens that have the potential to fly overnight. In my opinion, again, I'm not telling you what to do. When you take a look at a token that has 470 million total supply, again, about the same total supply as a little bit more than Ethereum and a little bit less than Solana. And you're talking even just $1 billion market cap, which is like 5% of XRP's current market cap. If you have just $1 billion, you're talking about a jump to $150 per BXE token, a token that's at 2 cents. And when you're looking at a potential pressure situation on April 1st, I don't think we could see those numbers again. That is my personal opinion. It's not financial advice. I think we could be looking in the tens to hundreds of dollars in the short term. With that, I want you to remember this video, and I know I've posted it before, but this guy is the head of SBI, one of the largest banks in Japan, talking about XRP actually hitting massive milestones and being the single, basically strongest financial token that the world essentially has ever known. So this is a big deal. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. make sure that you retweet this video, because as soon as we hit 40,000 followers, 161 followers away, as soon as we hit it, we're going to be picking a random follower from the people that have retweeted and commented on this video for an XRP giveaway. So go ahead and hit that retweet video, follow this account, Finance Pro IT. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.